So today I'm in my favourite colours with my favourite tribe, cruising through the ladder and flying over the top of all my opponent's creatures. Hey everyone, Hex here, and today we're back on the ladder with an extremely powerful Angel deck that feels perfect against the meta right now. But before we get going, I want to thank everyone for your incredible support for this channel. It's great I get to share my content with you, and if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below to not miss out on future content, and you'll be massively helping out the channel in the meantime. But onto this deck, and I cruise through the ladder today. No combos here, just very strong creatures in a deck built with today's meta. So I'll run through the creatures first. We've got Giada or Giada, Font of Hope. It's a 2/2 Vigilant Flying Angel that says each other angel you control ETBs with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each other angel you control. And for tap, add a planes to spend only to cast an angel spell. It's the perfect 2-drop in this deck as it ramps up to our 4 drops on turn 3. We're playing Inspiring Overseer. It's a 2/1 3-drop that draws a card and gains a life when it ETBs. So the stats are a little bit low, but if you pair it with a Giada, you're looking pretty good here. We're playing Liesa, Forgotten Archangel. It's a 5-drop 4/5 Flying Angel with lifelink that says whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return it to your owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. We've got Steel Seraph, our 3-mana 3/3 or 6-mana 5/4 prototype angel that gives target creature lifelink, flying or vigilance at the beginning of your combat. I've said it before, but the vigilance is great against Wandering Emperors, and the lifelink is very handy against the aggressive decks we're encountering. We've got Sanctuary Warden. It's our big boy, 5/5. It enters with 2 shield counters on it, and when it does ETB or attack, you can remove a counter from a creature or planeswalker you control to create a 1/1, and you get to draw a card. Lastly, the best angel in the deck, I would say, Archangel of Wrath. So it's essentially a 3/4 lifelinker that you can kick up to 2 times for 1 mana each. Each time you kick it, it deals 2 damage to any target, and as it's got lifelink, you gain 2 life as well. It does need a red mana for its second kicker, so we are splashing some red in our mana base. Interaction wise, we've got cut downs, go for the throats, and some destroy evils. We've got Sorin and the Wandering Emperor as planeswalkers in the 4-drop slot, and I'm playing 27 lands. Maybe you could go down to 26, but I'm pretty happy with the performance here, and I never really flooded, and I definitely never needed mana. So feel free to mix it up, but I don't think you necessarily need to. The deck is super strong, and you'll see I never really felt under any pressure at all until the very last game. So have a watch and let me know what changes you'd make to my Orzhov Angels deck. Alright, opening hand here, and yeah, this is pretty nice. We get to play our Swamp and hold open cut down. Turn 2, we get to play Giada. I think it's pronounced Giada. It could be Giada, but I'm going to pronounce it Giada through the whole video. It taps for a planes that you can use to cast an angel spell. So next turn we get to attack with it, tap it, cast Inspiring Overseer, play a Swamp and hold open cut down. So pretty nice start for us there. Fingers crossed they don't kill our angel here. And it's just an underdog, that's fine. That's exactly what we want actually. So the stats on the underdog make it killable with the cut down, and I'm just going to do it right now, get it out of the way. The Overseer comes out with a +1/+1 counter on it, as it Giada also says that angels come in with a +1 counter for each other angel you control. So pretty nice there, pretty nice start, as we drew also our Archangel of Wrath. So yeah, I mean, unless the opponent can just wipe the board, I don't know how they can get out of this, to be honest. I'm going to play the Steel Seraph pre-combat here, as I want to give my creature lifelink. I think it's just some extra value there. We didn't have to wait, as I wouldn't have had the mana to do anything else, and I wanted to cut down the Tenacious Underdog anyway. So we have 10 mana, well, we have 10 power in the air here, and the Archangel of Wrath is at least going to do 2 damage next turn as well. So this is a super strong start by us here. A lot of people play Mardu Angels to play the Fable, but I'm not doing it in this deck. We are splashing some red in the mana base for the Archangel of Wrath's kicker ability. Opponent there with a Leyline Binding, taking our Steel Seraph, but that is fine because we get to kick our Archangel here. And yeah, it does 2 damage to our opponent, and as the creature has lifelink, we gain 2 life as well. So we've got another 10 damage in the air coming through. So I'm Not really sure what the opponent can do here. It would need to be a board wipe, and it looks like they're playing some kind of domain style deck, so that they might have the they might have one, but okay. Opponent plays a land, so they're certainly taking their time over this turn. I'm just fast forwarding through all of the delays. Okay, they just scoop it up, so we'll take that as our first victory. Alright, on the draw with this hand, and it's okay. We're playing 27 lands in this deck, so I would hope to draw more than 2 mana in our opening hand. We'll keep it though, and we'll just see where we go with this. Opponent with an Evolved Sleeper. Okay, we drew a cut down. Always a bit annoying to draw a cut down in this particular situation. I think we'll still play the Sundown Pass. We could have definitely played Caves there and then held up and cut down for the Evolved Sleeper. But I feel like we're going to win the long game. So I think the best thing about this deck is the flying. All of our creatures have flying, so we just go straight over the top of any of the pesky little blockers that opponents generally have these days, especially if they have Death Touch. Opponent plays a Tainted Adversary. Okay, so that has Death Touch. Now the Evolved Sleeper will get Death Touch once they start evolving it. So we find a swamp. Okay. So I don't necessarily feel we're under any big pressure at the moment. We need to sort of set ourselves up for the next few turns. The worry is if we don't draw any more lands and they've just holding open loads of removal here. Okay, gone for Bankbuster. We're going to take a little bit of damage now. Should be okay. But I think the card draw from Bankbuster is going to be pretty nice as time goes on. Okay, opponent evolves their Sleeper and gets in there. So if they're missing land drops, because I would have expected them to play another Swamp and evolve the Sleeper a little bit more, the cut down's going to be great next turn to deal with the Sleeper. Okay, they have a second Sleeper. Okay. Alright, we're going to have to definitely deal with these. We find a Destroy Evil. Alright, so we'll drop our Caves here. If we play a creature, the chances of it getting removed are pretty high. Opponent is probably sitting on removal. They are only on 2 mana. And Go for the Throats and Infernal Grasp only costs 2, so I'm pretty sure they're probably holding some. We'll just cut down one of the Evolved Sleepers right now, and we're going to just draw with the Bankbuster. So yeah, still taking some damage, but the Liesa and Steel Seraph in our hand both have lifelink. And I'm just drawing with the Bankbuster now. See what our next turn holds. We could have waited there, but I don't think it really matters too much. Opponent evolves their Sleeper. And they jump in for 4 damage. Okay, and it's Akiba Reckoner Raid. So yeah, definitely missing loads of lands. Although we haven't particularly hit our land drops. We cast the Overseer now to see if we can find a land. It's a cut down, okay. Alright, so this is a really annoying game. For both of us here, I think. They find a swamp. And yeah, there's a removal on our Overseer, so I guess it's just a cut down, so maybe the Steel Seraph would have survived, but okay, they evolve their Sleeper even more, so we're down to 5 life now, so pretty scary. So we're going to play the Steel Seraph here, mainly to be able to crew this Bankbuster. Cut down's going to deal with this adversary. And fingers crossed the Bankbuster can block the Evolved Sleeper. See what they want to do. Okay, so the Destroy Evil can take care of the Nezumi Rogue Captain. So we could have attacked last turn with the Bankbuster and given it lifelink. But I think this is the better way because we're going to be able to, fingers crossed, destroy some of the opponent's creatures. See what they want to attack with here. They've got to see that we've got the Bankbuster. Okay, well, they're just attacking with everyone. So we will definitely block the Evolved Sleeper here. Our Bankbuster's done us well. It's kept us in the game. But now we're cashing it in And we get to kill the adversary as well. So we're down to 4 life, but I've got a feeling we're going to be... Well, I've got a feeling we've stabilised. The Steel Seraph's going to gain us life every turn now. Okay, Occult Conscript. Okay, that's more annoying than anything. But we do find a Plains. Okay, 5 mana means we can play the Overseer. We can gain life, draw a card, see what we get. Giada, alright, well that's pretty nice. We're definitely going to have to kill this Nezumi Rogue Captain, unfortunately, and not play our creature right away. But we're going to give our Steel Seraph a lifelink here. Go back up to 8. And then start turning this game around, I think. Obviously, if they find a 5th mana, we've got to be careful of an Invoke Despair would be pretty backbreaking for us, as these black decks tend to have that card. Okay. I mean, they didn't have the right mana all game, so that's clearly been sitting in their hands for a while. We go down to 4 though. We lost our Overseer. Not the end of the world, as we've been holding a Destroy Evil to deal with the enchantment here. And yeah, again, next turn we can just give our Steel Seraph lifelink. So we draw Sorin. Just playing a one-off of Sorin in the deck. I needed an extra 4-drop. And I didn't want to play too many Wandering Emperors in case we have too many in our hand. So we'll give our Steel Seraph lifelink and go back up to 5. And this time we'll drop our Liesa. So it's a 4/5 with lifelink that says whenever a non-token creature we control dies, it goes back to our hand at our end step. And whenever a opponent's creature dies, it exiles. So it's pretty nice against this Cult Conscript. And the Tenacious Underdog that the opponent's played. Alright. And down comes a Graveyard Trespasser. That's fine. So although we've got quite a bit of power on board with lifelink, I don't think we're necessarily in this game completely just yet. Okay, so I decided to be a bit cheeky on this particular turn. Gonna give lifelink to our Steel Seraph and attack our opponent down. We do go up to 11, but I'm gonna just pass the turn. I think my biggest problem here is this Trespasser. So as it transforms and before their main phase, I'm gonna just kill it and we're just gonna discard this Giada. And yeah, that card I feel like may have been more of a problem than the other 2 cards on the battlefield. But they can, do 5 damage to us? Okay, Infernal Grasp on the Liesa, fair enough. They go down to 8. We go back down to 5. Just a swamp, okay. May as well play the Sanctuary Warden now then. Pretty annoying card for our opponents to deal with. And we draw a Go for the Throat as well. Okay, so again, we're going to gain 3 more life here, put the opponent down to 5, so they're now going to be, they're facing down a lethal threat in this Sanctuary Warden. Can't believe we've managed to turn this game around, but it's just the life gain has been so immense for us. Opponent with a hostile, and I think that that is game over. And yeah, they just passed their turn, and we just need to attack in the air for our second win. Alright, on the play here. Yeah, this is a really nice hand, and we've got some really good mana here, so we'll keep this. We'll drop our tap land first. I don't think it makes a difference if we play it now or third, but we'll drop it now, and then we can hold open Go for the Throat as we drew our Archangel of Wrath, our second copy. Opponent also an Orzhov and an Underdog. Well, as good as target as any for the Go for the Throat. So although they can just keep replaying that, it's a most mana efficient play for us there. Always want to drop this Overseer when you can, because it's our weakest creature, but it does draw us a card, which is pretty nice early doors like this. We did find a Wandering Emperor, so that kind of changes our plan a little bit. Especially as opponent plays a Tenacious Underdog, which is definitely a target for the Wandering Emperor here. And we get a Giada, okay. So I think the best thing to do is just to make sure that we hold open our Emperor. And we're not going to block with this Overseer, so we may as well attack. Yep, and opponent takes it. Obviously, it's a flying creature. All our creatures are flying. Which is, I think, the best part about the deck. I think the meta is so aggressive at the moment, but most creatures are on the ground. And this deck, and I also have a Dragons deck that I really love. They seem to do really well with just the flying abilities. Good old-fashioned flying. Now, opponent didn't attack. They must have seen what we were going to do, so we'll just play the Wandering Emperor here and just create a 2/2. But we've slowed them down, and as long as we can just keep creating blockers on the ground, we can just keep smashing them over the top. Okay, so we just make another 2/2, and we're just attacking the air. We could have given our token there first strike and attacked there, but I don't think it's necessary at the minute, and I don't think it really matters too much, to be honest. So they go down to 16. We're in a nice healthy 21. And they were holding a march anyway, so that seems okay that we didn't target our token. Lay down arms, our Giada, okay. We go back up to 24. Soul Partition, our 2/2, okay, fair enough. So they've come fully prepared for a fight here as they attack our Wandering Emperor. We'll play the Steel Seraph, and then we have a cut down open if we need to use that. Which we will. We're going to kill this Misery Shadow. It's a card that's going to get out of hand pretty quickly if we don't deal with it. Yeah, they're just going to be able to keep pumping mana into that and start wiping down our board. So we've got them down to 14 though. We're still on 20. I think just the life gain in this deck is unbelievable. It's not really a life gain deck. It's just incremental as the game goes on. It just so happens to be there. Opponent attacks us for 3. I mean, sure, whatever. We'll take 3. Okay, they passed their turn with Wandering Emperor mana open, so yeah, this is another amazing thing about the Steel Seraph. Giving it vigilance is amazing here. So I'm not going to attack with the 2/1. I don't think it's worth it. Even if they're faking it out, it's just 2 damage. And yeah, maybe this was a slight misplay playing this Archangel right now. I presume they had the Wandering Emperor, so playing this now and targeting the underdog. Yeah, maybe I should have just gone straight to their face. Like I said, I was playing around the Wandering Emperor anyway, and I just didn't think that time, but fair enough. Opponent with the Anointed Peacekeeper. Okay, so they get to look in our hand here, and they get to tax one of our spells, and they've gone for Archangel of Wrath, fair enough. So that's going to cost 2 more. And they're jumping in with a 5 damage, which we'll just take. Okay, so unfortunately with the Wandering Emperor, we're going to have to target the Wandering Emperor here, as we can't let that stick around for a turn. So we'll go to combat, and we'll make sure that if they have another Wandering Emperor in their hand, that they can't take it out on their turn next turn. Take out our Steel Seraph, which I think is the card that is key in our deck. So Archangel of Wrath has done its thing. We don't need any more life gain, but the Steel Seraph giving our things vigilance is amazing. And yeah, we just get to play our Sanctuary Warden. And if they do have a Wandering Emperor now, they can just deal with the 3/4, but we still have so much damage in the air. Okay, they just passed their turn, it looks like. Okay, and we find a land. I've already done the math here in my head as when I was waiting for the opponent there. As long as we give our Sanctuary Warden vigilance, then if the opponent does have a Wandering Emperor, and they'll have to target one of the 3-power creatures, they're still going to take more than enough damage to die here. So yeah, once again, the Steel Seraph giving vigilance is the MVP move, I'd say. Yeah, and down comes the Wandering Emperor. And I think just being able to fly over our opponent's creatures here has really made us win this game here. Opponent goes up to 10, but they take 10 in the air anyway, so That was a really nice win there. All right, on the play here. Yeah, this looks like a mulligan. Unfortunately, don't like to mulligan on the play, but this hand, yeah, this is a bit better. It's not perfect, but we'll keep this. We'll ditch this Sundown Pass for the moment. We don't have any Archangel of Wrath, so we will play a Swamp and say go. Opponent with a pass themselves. So a red and white deck. And green. And it's a recruitment officer. Okay, so soldiers, I'm guessing. We have go for the throat there, so we'll just deal with that straight away. Okay, a Bankbuster. That's a pretty nice card. It's just going to ruin our curve a little bit. We will play the Bankbuster though and get this online. We're not under any immediate threats right now, but if they are playing soldiers, they've even got the King Darien sleeves, then I think some card draw over the next few turns to try and find some removal spells is going to be nice. And it's bad. Okay. So definitely soldiers, Naya soldiers. And we find a Wandering Emperor. Okay, well, I think we'll just pass the turn and we'll draw with the Bankbuster or play the Wandering Emperor. See if the opponent wants to attack into us. Valiant Veteran, okay. Okay, that's a good card. It's going to pump all other soldiers, all soldiers, and yeah, they just got to end step. They're playing around our Wandering Emperor, which is fair enough. We'll just make a 2-2 now, though. So we draw a land. Okay, so kind of glad we played the Bankbuster a couple of turns back, as we're going to be able to start drawing cards and filling up our hand again. But we might as well just give our 2-2 a +1/+1 counter and attack. And I doubt they're going to block. Okay, they don't. So they go down to 17, and we will drop our Liesa though. Now, they are a little bit stuck on mana, so fingers crossed that they continue to stay stuck on mana. Okay, well, they're not. They find their third mana, and in the soldier deck, that means the Brutal Cathar is going to come down. So this is their removal of choice. But we'll crew now to avoid any attacks by our opponent. We just need to find a removal spell for the Brutal Cathar, and then we can ambush them during their attacks. Liesa is a pretty nice card to block with, so Archangel of Wrath's pretty nice as well. I think at this point I forgot about the Valiant Veteran and was under the impression that the Brutal Cathar was just a 2-2, and then the Archangel could just kill the Cathar, so I wasn't particularly concerned at the moment. And then yeah, I realised that it's a 3-3. The Veteran's pumping it up, so we're going to have to start dealing with their creatures, but good thing about soldiers is it's all ground creatures, so we just need to get some angels down and then we can start hitting them in the air and start gaining some life back. Now, King Darien can be sacked to save these, I believe, so something to be wary about. But we get to crew the Bankbuster here and at least deal with the 3/3s. I don't want my Wandering Emperor to necessarily die. The longer it's on the battlefield, the more distracted our opponent is with the Wandering Emperor, and then they're not attacking our face. I'm wondering if they should have just attacked us then. We may have exiled one of their 3/3s, but I would have lost my Wandering Emperor, so I'm not sure I would have necessarily done that. But anyway, we drew a Steel Seraph through our Bankbuster. So unfortunately we don't have a red mana to kick our Archangel twice. Now the Brutal Cathar is a 4/4. And I'm just digging for some removal, to be honest, at this moment. We find another land. Okay, and just play the Steel Seraph. So they've already played one Brutal Cathar. If they've got another, that's fine. But if they take the Steel Seraph and then we can kill the Brutal Cathar that's holding the Steel Seraph, we get back its larger version. So I don't mind the Brutal Cathar if it wants to take a 3/3 R3/3. But we can start poking. We can keep poking away with the Inspiring Overseer. It's doing a lot of damage here, just over the top. Okay, 4th mana for our opponent. Another Brutal Cathar. Okay, fair enough. Interested to see what they take. Okay, they have gone for the Steel Seraph. Alright, so if we can kill this Brutal Cathar, we're going to get a nice little 5/4 there. 5/4 flyer. Or we kill the other one, we get a 4/5 flyer. So just going to try and find our removal spells. And because we've got the Sulfurous Springs in our hand, we can actually kick our Archangel twice next turn. Lay down arms, one of our 2/2s. Is acceptable. The interesting thing is, what do we want to kill? Do we want to kill Baird because it keeps creating them a soldier? Do we want to kill King Darien as it's pumping everyone? Or do we want our creatures back from the Brutal Cathars? Opponent goes to kill our Emperor. Well, I think it's time to say goodbye to our Wandering Emperor here. So we'll just take that damage. And yeah, they get another soldier. It'd be fun as Sanctuary Warden. Alright, so we've got some really nice creatures, but it's just getting these down on the battlefield. Yeah, so our opponent has 5 creatures I want to kill, and we have to make sure we kill the right creatures. So I'm going to go for King Darien first, as it's pumping up everybody. So we'll kill King Darien, and then that will reduce the stats of everything else. And then if we can find a... Well, then with our Archangel next turn, we can take out the Valiant Veteran and one of the Brutal Cathars. That was my thinking here. Okay, Siege Veteran, sure. Okay, so they get to put a counter on one of their creatures. Really don't want them to put it on the Valiant Veteran. That's the creature I want to stay a 2/2, so we'll see what they do it on. Okay, they target itself, which is fine by me. It does mean that if we want to kill... Well, it does mean that if we take out the veteran, Bed still gets a 1/1. But they don't seem to be attacking us with those creatures, so that's fine. And we find a cut down anyway, so there's a pretty nice turn coming up here. We can cut down the 2/2. They get a soldier out of it, but that reduces the Brutal Cathars to 2/2s. Then we can play our Archangel of Wrath, kick it twice, and we can get back our creatures. So this game's kind of turned around. If they had put a counter from their Siege Veteran onto the Valiant Veteran, it would have been different here. I was umming and ahhing whether to take care of Bed, but no need. Opponent scoops it up anyway. Alright, on the play. Hand looks okay. Shame we have a tap land on turn 1, but that is fine with us. Opponent says hello. Say hello back. Another recruitment officer. Okay, so more soldiers it looks like. Seems to be a very popular deck at the minute. And we'll play Giada here. Don't need to cut down the recruitment officer. Okay, Thalia. Alright, so that was the card I think the opponent from the last game was missing, because Thalia is kind of irritating as a turn 2 drop. But yeah, we'll just take the damage here, and we won't worry about Thalia, but be mindful of it over the next few turns. So we'll attack our opponent for 2. Yeah, it would have been nice to play the Overseer and then cut down whatever creature they have on the battlefield. But we'll just drop down the Giada. And I don't know why I tapped Giada there necessarily, but you never know. If for any reason Thalia disappears, then cut down's available. But we're not blocking, so... Valiant Veteran, okay. So opponent jams with Thalia. We'll take 3 damage. Another cut down. Okay, well, we'll attack the opponent in the air for 5. So we have options here. We could play the Bankbuster. But I went for Inspiring Overseer and hold open our cut down to decide what we're going to do. Opponent likes that. It comes down with 2+1 counters on it though, so it's a 4/3 now. So pretty nice blocker here for the creatures the opponent has. And with cut down, we can take care of the Valiant Veteran at instant speed. So, okay, it's Brutal Cathar. Okay, that's fine. Sure. So I don't mind Brutal Cathar taking that creature, but we will cut down the other threat at the moment, which is annoying me the most, which is Thalia. We can deal with the Brutal Cathar later in the game and get our creature back. Okay, but we do find a Steel Seraph, which is always a nice card to have. And yeah, we'll attack our opponent in the air for 5. Play our Seraph. And hold open our cut down as well. So pretty nice value there with Giada. Again, I don't feel under any pressure, and we're threatening lethal in the air next turn, so opponent's going to have to deal with our creature. Well, it's a Brutal Cathar on our Steel Seraph. Fair enough. So the Valiant Veteran here, pumping the Brutal Cathars is a bit annoying. But it is what it is. They don't really have any good attacks though. And we can do at least, what, 6 damage next turn in the air. So we'll cut down this Veteran right now. And there's a Sanctuary Warden, and surely this is going to be game over. We'll just attack the opponent for 5. I guess we could have attacked with the Bankbuster, but I wanted to make sure the damage went through. And we'll play the Sanctuary Warden here. Comes down as a 7/7, and sure. We'll make a little 1/1, draw a card. And this is going to be very difficult for our opponent to get out of now. So we're threatening lethal with the Overseer, even if they do find a way to kill the Warden. I guess they did miss some land drops, so... Okay, lay down arms, sure. Lay down arms, the Overseer, fine. Trying to crew a tap creature there. Not sure what I was going through my mind, it's very late here. Opponent scoops it up anyway. Alright, on the draw here with a really nice hand, so we'll definitely be keeping this one. Opponent with a Sundown Pass, and that is exactly what we have in our hand. But we'll play our Shattered Sanctum here instead. Yeah, so we could have played Caves there to hold open cut down, but I think what I've learned is to play your tap lands if you have them on turn 1. Get them out of the way. This Angel deck does really well in the mid game. Opponent on Mardu. Okay, so this could be a mirror match, which would be really nice because I'd love to see how we get on with our Orzhov version against what looks like probably a Mardu version, but who knows? We'll see who wants to make the first move. And it's them with a Fable. Okay, well, we'll just cut that down now. Our most mana efficient play. So we find a Go for the Throat. Okay. So, nice little removals here. I think what we could have done last turn is Go for the Throat, the 2/2, instead of cut down. That would have meant that we could have played Bankbuster this turn and held open cut down. But we did it the other way around. Okay, so they discard a land and draw a card. So one of us is going to have to be the aggressor and one of us is going to have to be on the defensive. So opponent makes the first move with a Fable, and they also play a Wedding Announcement. So maybe they're not on Angels. Maybe it's just a Mardu deck. And Wedding Announcement's not a problem for us at all. We did find our Destroy Evil as well. I mean, that's going to deal with the Wedding Announcement. So I think in this instance, there's nothing really for us to do. I don't like casting the Archangel of Wrath without the kicker value, and Steel Seraph looks like it's just going to die, so we'll just pass the turn and hold open our Bankbuster and destroy evil. Okay, opponent with a Fable. So the Fable is an irritating card for us to have to deal with. So we do have a Destroy Evil, but I'm going to want to kill that Wedding Announcement right now. I think the value over time is going to be more of a problem for us there. Fable we can deal with when it becomes a Kiki-Jiki later. We have the Go for the Throats available as well. So we're just going to hold tight. We're going to hopefully try and bide our time and then chuck down some of our big boys. But we'll draw with the Bankbuster in the meantime. Find a Liesa and a Cut Down. Okay. I would love a land there to play the Steel Seraph and hold open Go for the Throat, but I guess we can play Steel Seraph and use Cut Down here instead. So we'll do that. And what to cut down? Well, the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki is probably the annoying card at the moment, so we'll take care of that. And we can always block the 2/2 with our 3/3, or even the Bankbuster if we wanted to. So this is a really close game, a really difficult game here against a very similar deck. I think in games like this, it's all about making sure that you've got cards at the end when they maybe run out. So I'm pretty happy we've got this Liesa in our hand and this Archangel. We just need to hit some land drops here, but we'll use the Steel Seraph to give our Bankbuster, I guess, lifelink. Kind of want them to block, and obviously they don't. So we go back up to 22. Okay, opponent draws some new cards with their Fable. And it's a Wandering Emperor now. Alright, so main phase Wandering Emperor to deal with our Steel Seraph. I guess if they'd left the mana open, we probably would have just given it Vigilance, so smart move by them there. But we go down to 19, opponent on 19 as well, so we finally draw another land. This time we can use our Archangel that we've been holding all this game, and we have a target here, a perfect target with the Wandering Emperor. So, Wandering Emperor down, we can attack with our Bankbuster, get our opponent down to 15, and we're back up to 21. So a nice little turn there. And we've still got the Go for the Throats in our hand, so we can deal with the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. Opponent with their own Archangel of Wrath. For the full 6 mana, so they're going to be able to deal with our Angel. So does this game turn again? This time in the opponent's favour. And they get in for 3. And we're down to 18 now. We find an Overseer. Okay, not the most exciting card for us to draw. Gonna have to kill this Archangel, I think. I think that just making copies with the Reflection is going to be a nightmare for us. And it's all, do we cast this Overseer or do we draw a Bankbuster? I went with the Overseer just to see what we can find. We do draw a land, so that will set us up nicely for next turn. But this 2/1 Overseer we're going to just use to block. Opponent with a Liesa, okay. So they make a copy of their 2/2 and get a pretty aggressive attack here. I mean, straightforward block the non-copy 2/2. So yeah, very aggressive. We're only down to 16 life, but they've just lost their... I probably wouldn't have attacked with the token there, the other 2/2. It's a Guardian Saver, okay. And we find, okay, second Liesa, that's really irritating. Okay, so I'm just going to draw with Bankbuster, see what we can find. Just a Steel Seraph. Really wanted something a little bit more exciting. Okay, so we're going to have to kill something. I think Liesa's, the life gain is going to be the most annoying. At least the Steel Seraph and Liesa both are flyers that can block this Guardian Saver. So we're going to take a big hit here, I think. They're going to definitely make a copy of this creature and attack us. So they're attacking us for 7. But they are down to their last card. At this point, I'm presuming it's a removal spell, as they are reluctant to cast it. So it's that or a Wandering Emperor. As we find a Sanctuary Warden. So I went for the Sanctuary Warden. If opponent does have removal in their hand, then this might eke it out. And this was a tough decision whether I wanted to take a shield counter off of it to draw a card, because I'm pretty certain they've got a removal card in their hand, so I am going to want to block. What the opponent should do is not attack with this Sigardian Savior, because I probably don't want to block, because they're just going to destroy my creature. But I'll be inclined to block this the original Savior they've got on the battlefield here. I mean, they might not have removal in their hand, but they do make a copy of the Savior and play a land and attack with everyone. Okay, well, I kind of predicted that this was going to happen, so I'm going to block the original 3/3. I am predicting that they're going to kill my Sanctuary Warden, and I don't think that that's the worst trade in the world, as although we go down to 6, our hand is stacked, and it is a go for the throat, which is interesting because that wouldn't kill our Steel Seraph or the Bankbuster. So I played the Steel Seraph first and then Giada after. I should have done it the other way around. It was a very small misplay. But yeah, we get to attack now the opponent, and using the Steel Seraph's ability, we can give it some lifelink here, so we can finally get our life total back up. And opponent has got very aggressive with their attacks over the last few turns, and all they have is this 2/2 on the battlefield, and we can just fly over that. They do find a Wandering Emperor off the top though, which is a pretty nice card for them. So guessing they're going to just exile this 3/3 with us, which they do. We find an Overseer. So we play Liesa, and yeah, we can crew with our Liesa, our Bankbuster, and we can take out the Emperor here, and we can attack down our opponent as well for 4. And I don't think we're under any immediate threat of dying, but we do also, in our second main, get to cast our Overseer. Draw us a card. Again, it's a life back. Another Giada, okay. So we definitely turn this game around. I think the opponent attacking those 2 turns with all their creatures was a big turn for us, as the life gain from our creatures has just got us back in this game here. And they just drew a land, so this looks pretty over. We find a Steel Seraph as well. Okay, so we have lethal here. We just need to cast the Steel Seraph. We can crew it, or we can crew our Bankbuster with the Steel Seraph, and then we can give our Bankbuster flying. And that is lethal. That would be 6-0 our Angel deck's gone here. So I don't necessarily think you need to be playing red in the deck. I think there's no harm in doing it if you want to. But yeah, this deck seems really strong, and I'd highly recommend it for anyone that wants to play something pretty decent on the ladder at the moment. So thanks for watching. I ended up going 6-0, and I felt it was the perfect deck for the current meta. I personally wouldn't make any changes right now, and although some versions play red for a Fable, I don't think it's wholly necessary, as the other cards are just so strong anyway. But feel free to subscribe for future videos, and I'll speak to you again very soon.